For those of you who follow motorsport, I don't think I need to tell you why the Dakar Rally is such a big deal. It always has been, I think it always will be, and this year in particular, so much has been said about just the level of that competition, how arduous the whole event was. And we got fantastic news because conquering all of that tough terrain is India's own Aravind KP, who is with me right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome back, literally, because I know you've just arrived back in the country a few hours ago.
Yes.
Wonderful to see you, and heartiest congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here, first of all, and thank you. Thank you for the wishes.
It's, like I said, it's a big deal for anybody who even tracks it. So, of course, for somebody who's participating or first dreams of participating and then finally gets there. I remember when you were embarking on your first endeavor is when we first met and spoke about why it's so important for you personally. Yes. You know, being there, experiencing it over the years, I know you learnt a lot, you got a lot out of it, but there was always that whole thing about completing it. You've done it.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, you know, until you get there, you don't really know what it has to offer to you. So you can never be prepared for what it has to throw at you. So I think this time the preparation was really good, and the past 2 years have helped me how to train myself and how hard I should work towards you know, just to get to the finish line. And like you said, this time was good, and we got it done.
But such a lot of, you know, hard work in terms of just pure physical discipline and training. Then of course with the bike, and you know, after that about conquering the various stages and understanding or researching and studying how to approach it. All of that is on one side, but then what the actual day throws up is something else, right? Yes. Because you never know where there's a stone or where there's, you know, something that is going to trip you up. Yep. It's an unfair question, but how do you prepare for that unknown?
See, you just hope that you know, there's not a stone hiding behind the sand and, you know, waiting for you. Sometimes it depends on how focused you are. That's the reason we train a lot. So when you train a lot, you tend to focus really well on what is actually coming up ahead, because when you lose that slightest focus is when you can, you know, finish your rally completely. So like I said, we train, and you focus on what is coming up ahead. And even if there is a rock, you kind of prepare yourself to deal with it. And with so many years of training and so many years of riding background, it kind of helps to deal with what is thrown at you. So I think that is also a part of...
Yeah, a lot of that is then mental training as well,
yes.
right? The whole aspect of, let's take the example of a rock coming up, you know. What it does to the machine can be something mechanical. What it does to you, of course, can be much worse in terms of an injury. Do you train to fall right? I mean, how do you try and prepare for that eventuality?
See,
luckily, so break bones.
Yeah, luckily for me, I've been an athlete all my life. So I'm kind of, you know, it's instinctive that when you fall, you kind of roll over and not take the complete impact of a fall. So when you don't really know how to fall, it's very easy to you know, break bones. Though with so much training that, you know, past few years I've broken many bones. But other than that, like you said, yeah, you do train with you know, proper reception and hand and eye coordination, and, you know, how to roll over and not to be stiff on the bike. So you can minimize the impact and minimize the damage that can cause to you. But like you said, when it is up to the machine, I think when you hit a rock, there are major consequences, like you can break a wheel or you can break something major on the machine, and which can end your race. But yeah, I've had such instances in the race as well, but wasn't really major. But I can say luck also has to play a part other than the training. But yeah, we prepare for everything which is up. Yeah.
Tell me though, I mean, the last few editions when you were there, you know, of course, just as hard in terms of what everything that was being thrown at you on a daily basis. How do you take that? You know, there's obviously a huge amount of disappointment when you can't finish, or
yes.
when you know that you're out.
Yes.
How do you take that and turn it into sort of energy and focus for the next year, or even the next event? It doesn't have to be the Dakar.
Yeah, see, when you fail at something, I think it kind of drives you more to do better and to work more harder to get to that goal again. So I think it's been it's not just me, but it's the team around me and the people around me. They've been very supportive, and whenever I've doubted myself, they've made sure that it was possible for me, and they believed in me and made me realize that I could do it. So I think I've always had good people doing that to me, and I've always been in a good pace, and which didn't really get to me in a bad way, and shy away from it. So I think the non-finishing part only made me want to do it more than before.
The hunger increases.
Yes.
Tell us how the last year has been, in the sense from the end of Dakar last year to getting to this year's event. All the milestones, everything that you had on the way. You had injuries on the way as well, but how has that last year been leading up to this?
Oh, the last year has been very, very hectic. I had a major injury in the Dakar last year. I had to go through many surgeries just to be able to walk firstly, and then I slowly kind of made it back to the bike, and then I got into this event called Pan Africa in Morocco, where I had another injury, which took another 2 surgeries for me to be back in shape. Going up to the Dakar till the last month, it was a little skeptical, but then
It's too close, right?
Yes, it was very, very close. Going into the Dakar also, I was nursing a few injuries, but physically I was physiological way I was fit. Just that I didn't have a lot of time on the bike. Other than that, I was training a lot. I was training physically. I was training. I was going to the gym. I was cycling. So physiologically, I was fit, but it cannot replicate how much time you spend on the bike. So there was always a skeptical way, would it be okay? Would it not be? But then we approached Dakar in a positive note, saying, we'll just take it from how we start.
Yeah.
So I started it very slowly and consistently. Did not try and see what level I was at, because I could have started much more harsher, but I just had to preserve myself. I knew it was a long race, because we had to go through the same thing for almost 12 days. So I just wanted to preserve myself, start slow and see how my hand and how my leg would hold up, and slowly from then I started feeling better as the race progressed, and that's the way we got into the race completely.
I know it's a cliched question, and I know I've also asked you this before, but especially given your experiences, and especially the last year, there are of course a lot of people who are going to be watching this saying, you've got to be some level of crazy to want to then get back on the bike, get back into that scenario where the same thing can happen again. Yeah. You're not the only one, of course. There are others who do this.
Yes.
But it's still a very select set of people.
Yes.
Is it special kind of crazy?
I don't think so. I think when you're here, even walking on the street is crazy. You can be hit by a car, and you can have a fatal accident as well. But this is what we do, and this is what I've been doing for a long rest of the time, and I think you can take this kind of risk for realizing your dream, and
it's a measured risk. I mean, what's at stake.
Yes, exactly. That is always a calculated risk that you want to take, but like you said, sometimes it's okay, and sometimes it just catches you. Like the last injury that I had was not a big crash. Maybe a few kilometers before the injury that I had a major crash, and I just walked away from it. The bike was mangled. It was a really high-speed crash, but not a scratch on me. But then another 20 kilometers into the stage, I had this stupidest of the jump, which I was actually looking into the road book and trying to navigate, and then there was a broken dune. I kind of got into that place a little more faster than I had to. So I couldn't really brake, and I had to jump the dune, and the gap was really big, So when I landed, the sand was soft and the bike wouldn't move. So all that speed kind of came into a stop, and then I kind of hyperextended my ankle and broke it. But like you said, sometimes it's your luck. Sometimes you walk away. Sometimes it gets you. But I think it's all good experience, and it just makes you realize that where you went wrong and what you have to do not to be in that situation again, and work hard and do better.
there are thousands and millions of people who of course track all of this and love that about or the spirit about you. The team and the bike, give us a sense of how that progression has been over the last 2-3 years.
The team, I should say, the team has just gotten better with the two brothers, you know, Mikael Medj and Aravind Medj. They've been my support system. I live at Mikael Medj's house. So, you know, his family, I'm like family, they treat me like family, and we train every day. And this year I've been training with his physical trainer, whose name is Cyril Ricky, who's a world championship contender, duathlon. My training has been on point, and everything has been monitored and everything has been measured. And I live in a very good place where I can just hop on the bike and ride every day. So, you know, a lot of positive things, you know, like Aravind Medj and Mikael Medj, they are very experienced with racing as well. You know, it's I should say I'm fortunate to be around them and learn a lot from them, because they, you know, experience really matters, and getting guidance from them makes a lot more lot of things easier for me. So it's just wake up and do. You know, it's we work the whole year for Dakar, and when you go to Dakar, it's not like you have to do something differently. So you wake up and you know there is everything sorted out, so you just go through what follow your day. So it's not stressful, and this is what I've learned over the years, and I think it's helped me a lot, and I'm a better person now, and I think I got the finish because of that.
Yeah, and you know, I can tell you that watching that progression has also been fun. A very small aside I can tell you now is, and not that it matters because in the larger scheme it really doesn't, but I had the superstitious thing where every time there was a stage finished and, you know, we got news about you, I didn't say anything on social media this time. I was like, you know, let it be one more, let it be one more. It was thrilling when we found out that, you know, you've done it. The bike, how's it been?
The bike has been really good, you know. My mechanic Prakasham has been spending a lot of time in France, probably more than me this year, you know, almost a year
Just
he spent.
getting it right.
Yes, you know, because it's not a production bike, so it's a prototype, and it takes almost a year to prepare the bike, and it's like I said, everything is custom made. The tanks, the wiring, the suspension, the handlebars, the road book readers, the navigation tower. So Prakasham has put in a lot of work, and you know, it's not just my sacrifice, I should say. It's him also. You know, he's been spending all the time there, away from his family, away from India, and I think the credit goes to him. You know, that I had a clean spec bike every day. And you know, not just that, and even my team manager David Kastu has been spending a lot of time developing the motor, and this year we had a lot of difference in the motor as well. We had different gearbox, we had a lot more power because it was all sand dunes, and you need you need more torque. So they've been working a lot on the engine, and I think the bike is on point. And you know, you can see it on the result. You know, we did have a few problems here and there, but other than that, I think
that's the nature of Dakar,
yeah,
I guess.
you know,
but the whole talk about, you know, being in Peru and not going across different countries this time, there was almost an assumption that it would therefore be
easier,
a little bit easier, but
no,
it was
the
only
opposite. Yeah, it was only
Tell
harder.
us about, I
you
mean,
know? Yeah,
which stage for you was exciting, which was daunting? Just run us through your highlights.
I think the first week, the complete first week was really daunting. You know, the first day I was so like scared, and I just wanted to get through the stage. And the second day was a little better than the first day, but the third day was when it kind of got really daunting. You know, lack of visibility. There was a lot of stones, and it was on the Fesh area, so a lot of stones underneath, you know, and square edges, and the stones are like exactly hiding for you to get there.
Yeah, and this whole Fesh concept is something nobody here understands.
Yes.
Just how fine that.
Yes,
you know, it's almost
absolutely.
Like
so it kind of
silk.
looks like flat, but then when you get there is when you realize the terrain is like knee deep. And inside Fesh there can be anything, you know, it can be a hole, it can be a stone, it can be anything. So on the third day, it was really tough for me because I had to really control myself and hold back my my style of riding, and which was really tiring for me. Going into the marathon stage, I was destroyed. I was like, I had no more energy. The marathon stage was the 4th one, and when I was going into I was doing that stage. Even the marathon stage was like that. We start early, and then there was a lot of fog, so the visibility was maybe only like 5 to 10 meters. And you don't really want to risk it. I've had situations where I had clear visibility, and I've had problems with that.
Yeah, so why take chances?
Yeah, and I always had this thing called this thing going in my head that I have to finish. So I had to hold myself back a lot, and I couldn't really get to a good rhythm, which kind of drained me completely. So
does that sorry to cut you off, but
no
does that kind of help focus your energy and your mind to that final, like how Arjun had his eye on that, just the eye of the fish, that kind of thing? Does that help you to keep that eye on the prize?
See, definitely, it kind of drives you to keep there, because even sometimes when you're doing 330 kilometers, it's almost 6 hours on the stage, and there are many things going in your head, and you're alone. And it's just the bike noise, and you're going in places, and the terrain changes, and the difficulty changes. Sometimes you're like relaxed, and you kind of start enjoying the stage, and exactly right when you start enjoying, it kind of gets a little sketchy. You can lose focus on what you want, and you can hit something which is not really relevant, and everything can turn against you. So there's a lot going on in your head for 5-6 hours, so it kind of gets hectic. And then you kind of tell yourself, breathe, focus, this is not,
keep it going.
You keep it going, just whatever. You have to tell yourself, like, sometimes you have a bad day, sometimes tomorrow might be a good one. So just keep it together, even if you feel really bad, even if somebody passes you, you just keep it together and get to the finish line. So that's how the first week went, I was tired on the going into the marathon stage. I was tired. So right after I reached to the finish, I had a shower, and I went to the physio, and the physio in Dakar is like #1, like the world class physio guys, and they put me back in shape. So after that, there was no looking back. I could charge really. Coming back from the marathon stage is when I started to get back into my flow and feeling myself, and that kind of fear concept kind of went off, because I was already in that situation for 4 days. So I was kind of I was able to read the terrain better. I could feel that I kind of belonged there. Until then, it was like, a little scary. I didn't want to take chances. I just wanted to, even if it was 70th or 80th, I just wanted to get to the finish.
Last stage, when that imminent sense that, okay, it's happening now, it's going to finally happen where you finish. What was going through your mind?
Oh, to tell you, I think the last stage was the smallest, but the biggest for me. Because I was counting every kilometer. It was just 111 kilometers. I was just counting every kilometer until 75 kilometers or something. I didn't really push it. I was just riding, I was riding easy, and it was reverse order. So we caught up a lot of slow guys, but then it's kind of taking it easy until the 75th kilometer, I should say. But then 75th kilometer, I found my teammate with a slight problem on the bike. So I had stopped for him, and I spent about 10-15 minutes with him trying to sort things out. And then he wanted me to go. That was Mikhail Medj who was there. And then he asked me to go, and then I was with the fast guys, who started really last behind everybody. So I was with the fast bunch, and that's when I kind of got into a flow, and I could really charge with the second 40 kilometers, second part of the 40 kilometers. I could really do really fast, and I think I finished maybe 31st or something. But until that, I should say, it was really long for me, and until the last waypoint opened up on my GPS, I was just hoping this just gets over. I just want to have this in my bag.
I think thanks to the marvels of technology today, that video that you did where you answered that question about how you were feeling at that moment, I think we literally got it minutes after you had finished. So you know, that sense of euphoria and excitement. We didn't even know where what your
Yes.
position was at that
Yes,
point.
yes.
Was very exciting. So once again, congrats.
Thank you.
So of course I can keep talking to you, but I know that you also have other things to do today. uh, as you now absorb this, you know, you've had your long flight back home, and you've had some time to, let's say, let it sink in. Where do you go from here? What's the next immediate focus for this year? And then, of course, how soon do you start already thinking about next year's event?
I've already been thinking of the events that I have to do, and I just have like 2 weeks of layover, and my training starts right away. The plans of this year is not really sure yet, but TVS Racing will for sure make it official soon. So I think with the results that we've had, this year is going to be a lot more. We will be doing a lot more races, and TVS Racing will have a lot more bigger plans to be doing this year, I guess. And yeah, it's a teamwork, I should say. And yeah, we'll see from now on. We'll see. We'll have a meeting, and we'll see. I have few interests that I want to put my words to them. And then we'll see what we can do mutually, and what races that we'll do.
Well, as always, you know that we've got nothing but the very best wishes for you.
Thank you very much.
And the team. I think it's excellent and very remarkable what you've achieved. We're all very proud.
It wouldn't be possible without TVS Racing. You know, it's. I think I have the best team in the world backing me up, and it's not just me saying it, because you know, like you said, like you know. I've had a bad year, you know, to be supporting somebody who's not been you know, performing, and who's been having a bad time, and to be with that person, and to be you know, supporting and guiding them, and always believing in me is what I appreciate them for. And you know, I'm really happy to be a part of TVS Racing, and I think we have a lot more things to achieve, and a lot more things to do together.
I'm sure you will. Yeah. And again, huge congratulations.
Thank you.
All the very best for an even more exciting year ahead.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.